I want to be taken seriously without being serious. And I have played the role of serious to compete with men. Yeah, here I am. I'm so wise. I'm so responsible. I'm so capable. Because I want to show you that I'm just as good as you. I'm just as good as my brothers. I'm just as good as you, Dad.
Yeah. What does that cost you?
Yeah, not feeling connected, not getting to receive from men, not being seen in what is my true power, which is my feelings, my vulnerability, my love. So what's emerging for me is reclaiming my power in a way that I didn't think, like in my softness, in my expression of emotions, whatever they are. Yeah, letting myself feel big in that.
Beautiful. Masculinity is not toxic. Masculinity is medicine. Welcome to the Remasculation Podcast. This show is dedicated to the exploration, celebration, and pursuit of healthy masculinity in the modern world, with a view towards helping end the battle of the sexes and bringing men and women back together by turning the battlefield of the culture wars into a garden once again. I'm your host, Michael Bates, and my mission is to ignite and accelerate the evolution of men everywhere across this planet in our lifetime in service of something greater, our shared humanity. Welcome. I am fucking stoked for both of you, and I just opened up with a curse because ironically, it's such a blessing to sit with these two women today. These two women are Tanai Milgram and Quinn, and we are going to jump right in today. And before I introduce these amazing women, I'm going to ask them a question. And the question is this: a lot of women say they want a conscious man, but then don't treat men consciously. How do women treat men consciously? We're going to start with you tonight.
Well, I can speak to how I treat men consciously, which is as a divine mirror, showing me, like, if there's anything that I feel triggered by or that I don't like, that is bothering me, it is a part of myself to love. I divinely chose the man in front of me to love those parts of myself. So we're in this together. And what that means is that I treat this man with respect, with love, and as my partner, as someone who is there for me and I'm there for them. I'm opening myself and dropping my defenses and seeing what he brings me as medicine.
Beautiful. Thank you. Quinn, how do women treat men consciously? How do you?
I have found myself in deep reverence and all that you provide and all that you hold. I'm being grateful, not always with my words, but with the way that I show up and the way that I interact, and letting men see me and feel me from a place of softness. Even when that's not easy. And it's a
Thank you. What a gift you both are. And it's a gift to have you on the podcast today. I want to begin by thanking both of you for being here. You don't have to be here. You chose to be here. And you're guests today for two reasons. Well, many reasons, but those two original reasons of why we came together is that both of you have been through the Desire on Fire women's program run by my dear, dear friends and business partners, Amy Batuski and Ellie Montgomery. And in addition, you have been either partnered with or that you have been in relationship with men who have gone through the King's Code, the men's initiatory program that I run with Ellie's husband, Rob Montgomery, and Mark Boughton here in Austin. And so we're going to talk about that. But the other elephant in the room is our first podcast episode. That wasn't a podcast. We came here last week to record a podcast episode, and somehow the day was wrong. The studio had a big leak. Everything was moved, and we had to reschedule. But instead of just up and leaving, we sat outside these doors and had an episode between the three of us, and some really powerful things emerged. Some characters emerged for the two of you, and so yeah, I'd love to just hear from the two of you how you'd like to introduce yourselves to the audience based on what came through in that episode and what it is that you're in the midst of experiencing right now as women, as these two unique beings sitting across from me. And either of you can begin.
What are you feeling?
I think it's Quinn, actually. Yeah.
Too. Precious one wants to speak. I am this infinite light being that has this powerful voice, and I filter it through so many filters of what could be accepted, how will I be perceived, and with you too, on that day, we let all those filters go. And I found the shedding of all of that. I found this delicate, new. Yeah. How?
Worthy of being seen and protected.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did this precious little one, this new being come to be? And what allowed her permission to show up with the three of us around that table?
Your refusal to accept my bullshit. At your strong masculine holding on that day, I have been refusing myself. And you wanted to hear from her. You asked to hear from her. And she lit up under the approval of her voice. And I realized that she's not to be silenced.
Why not? Why not silence her, keep her silent?
Because what she has to say is so important. She is me.
Yeah. Yeah, for a little context for everyone listening, your little one, your inner child came out, and we had a beautiful encounter with her. And Tanai also was instrumental in welcoming her and getting to see both of your little ones step forward and play. Was really special. Was really special. And I want to just say this to the men listening. You know, a lot of people project onto me, men and women, because of my role and what it is that I'm doing. But I want to say, you know, I'm not special. Like I'm special, yes, because we're all special, and yes, I've cultivated something over a long period of time. But my ability to see you in that way and provide that, and thank you for the honoring and the acknowledging of that, what I was able to do and what part of me would just refuse to allow not to happen, is a capacity that all men have, that the masculine has in general, of being able to, no, that's bullshit. That is true. That is real. I want to see more of that. And from what I've heard from so many women, right, Tanai, you've either been told that you're too much or not enough.
Yeah.
Generally some variety of that. And so you've been conditioned to hide those things and hold those things back, when in fact your authentic feminine truth is the energy that we need, especially as men, to kind of snap us out of our modern derangement, whatever this is that we're in as men, this disempowerment that we're in. But that brought something up for you tonight, and I want to pitch it to you.
Oh man, I mean, I'm just thinking back. You know, I'm here partly because I dated someone in the King's Code, and I just got a flash of memories of moments when I would share something in my heart, or just share something, and he'd just quickly go, "No, that wasn't it," or like, "No, I don't believe you." Wow. I'm just really feeling it right now. I was so grateful for those moments because they were said without any judgment, without any agenda. It was just like, no, that wasn't it. And then being able to hear that and be like, yeah, you're right. That wasn't it. Let me do that again.
Yes.
And feel welcomed in doing that again.
Yes. And that, you know, it's so funny because I'm going to be interviewing him and another gentleman from our King's Code program, the oldest gentleman in the program and the youngest gentleman in the program. And the one you're speaking about was the youngest man, I believe, we had in our program. And what a precocious man he is. But again, why this work is so important, and what the King's Code and Desire and Fire and now becoming Feminine Reclamation, these programs are why they're so important. And it's not to say that our programs are the only programs out there. Like, find a way to do your women's work, right? Find a way to do your men's work so that we can come to each other and be in service of each other in the way that this gentleman who you're describing, Luke, we fucking love you.
Oh yeah, we can say
You're the man.
Okay.
The way we're able to show up for each other when we're not triggered, when we're not jockeying for space or trying to stay protected or, guarding, as we would have said when I grew up, guarding our grill, but guarding our hearts, from these experiences, and what becomes available when we can actually serve each other in these particular ways, in the way what happened with the three of us last week was able to come through. So yeah, I'd love to hear, well, first off, there's a lot of emergent things, right, from that experience. And I know you both have been really in it over the weekend, and myself as well. It was Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah.
I've been waking up to realizing how closed my heart is, how armored my heart has been, how not just my most recent separation from my fiance, and and by recent I mean it was well over a year ago, but it's still the freshness of that. I wrote a poem this weekend for the first time and got to perform it at your event this weekend tonight. Thank you so much for Heartstrings, and big shout out to Kayla Rodriguez as well. You're a co-conspirator and such a gift in this community for all of us. Yeah, like I just want to, we'll get more specific, but I want to just pitch it to both of you. Like, what's alive for you in this moment of all these things with the work that you both done? We're going to talk about the work that you both did. We are going to talk about what it's like to have experienced these men both before they went through our program, before they did their work, and then after. But what is just brewing in you right now, Tanai? Because you got a few things cooking.
I'll weave it into my introduction.
Yeah.
Which is that I am an optimist. I love people. I love life. I love expressing myself. I love being bubbly, happy, sweet, expressive in all the ways. Like my inner child loves getting on a stage and just getting to share myself.
Yeah.
And that has been something that I have too dimmed, because of my experience with men really growing up in my family. And I told Mark, who you run King's Code with, that I want to be taken seriously without being serious. Without being serious. And I have played the role of serious to compete with men. Yeah, here I am. I'm so wise. I'm so responsible. I'm so capable, because I want to show you that I'm just as good as you. I'm just as good as my brothers. I'm just as good as you, Dad.
Yeah. What does that cost you?
Yeah, not feeling connected, not getting to receive from men, not being seen in what is my true power, which is my feelings, my vulnerability, my love. So what's emerging for me is reclaiming my power in a way that I didn't think, like in my softness, in my expression of emotions, whatever they are. Yeah, letting myself feel big in that.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're going to pitch it to you, Quinn, and get your introduction as well. But there was a really interesting distinction that both of you made before we hit record, right? Of you growing up where your relationship with your father, right? Testing him, pushing him, like trying to be as big as you could possibly be. And you, Quinn, shared that you had quite the opposite experience.
I was not allowed. And the very few times that I tried, the result was anger and harsh words that I would care not to repeat. Yeah.
And from there, how would you introduce yourself to us and to the world as this Quinn, this singular, unique creature that you are, who was taught to hide herself and her uniqueness and her bigness, the likes of which, in my experience, everyone sees when you come into the room. A pretty general experience for most people, because you do stand out. You do have a uniqueness about you that you can't hide despite all of your attempts to do so.
Yes.
So would you like to introduce yourself to the world in a new way, perhaps today, maybe for the first time?
I am the embodiment of the sacred rebel. I have a voice that needs to be heard. I am a model for what it looks like when you truly step into your power. And I'm still learning every day. Yeah.
What a beautiful admission and introduction. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Wow. Wow. So let's start this way. We've obviously already started. What happened for the two of you? Like, what was the piece that drew you to this work, that drew you to Amy and Ellie, to their particular frequency? Because again, like this work, right? There's so many different forms of this work. And for those of you who are looking or interested in this work, which is simply the work of self, the work of developing ourselves into more than we already are. And part of us is already perfect and beautiful and exactly who we are already. Nothing needs to change. And that's only half true, because there's always a part of us that can grow, that can change, that is more, that there's more available, and we want more, we want more, we want more. Deliciously feminine part, I might say, for all humans. What drew you to this particular frequency of work, and what changed for you as a result of the work of what's now feminine reclamation, but desire on fire? What desire was on fire for each of you that drew you to this work specifically?
All right, I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Tanai, coming in
I
hot.
was like, okay, wait. The introduction continues because, this is like such an important piece.
Oh.
When I hired Amy, she was my first one-on-one coach. I was one of her first clients.
Yeah.
And I hired her to help me find a Jewish husband. And I know it's not funny. I was just like, I just need to get married. I'm what? I'm
Listen up, Jewish men.
yeah, right. I was like, I'm 24. It's time to get married. It's time to get a job. So that's what I hired her for. And she was in the process of learning all these things as I was working with her. So I had no choice. I got what I needed that I didn't know I needed.
Beautiful.
So when I hired her, one of the first things that I asked her coaching on was, how do I tell this man that I'd like to do this on our date? I was so scared. I'm like, if I say what I want, then he's not gonna want to date me. So I had a really low self-esteem when I started working with Amy. Men cared about what I wanted. I didn't think they'd care to hear my feelings. I definitely didn't want to be too much. I thought I could either be sexy or cute. There was nothing else. I had built myself up to be exactly what men wanted, because as a teenager, I wasn't getting their attention. So I thought, how do I smile like Rachel McAdams? How do I keep my feelings short so that I don't overwhelm them, so that I don't seem crazy, so that I'm not too much. I literally built myself up. And so when you say we're perfect, what I think is, yeah, I was perfect, but I had to disarm what I built myself to be for men.
Yeah. You ladies listening, if you resonate with what Tanai is sharing, put your hand up right now. Unless you're driving, then keep your hands on the wheel, right? But yeah, a very common experience for so many women. And I know so many women that I've talked to or worked with feel like it was just them having that experience, that it's not actually this broad universal thing that so many of your sisters have gone through.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the deeper things there was that the moment that a man would come close emotionally, I would find him disgusting. I was annoyed of him. Yeah, no longer attracted to him, critical of everything, would start talking shit about him with my friends. Yeah, it was like,
why would you do that?
Why would I do that? Yeah, I was extremely scared. And
because so many, I hear so many women say they want men to be emotional. They want men to be vulnerable and sensitive. So why would you punish a man for doing that?
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Well, I had built myself my own cage of who I need to be with you. So now if you're with me, I'm stuck in this cage forever. It's like the cage wasn't a relationship. The cage was the role that I've been playing. Now, I haven't told you the truth, which means now I have to be with you for the rest of my life, not telling you the truth.
Right. And you as per your own admission, right, on those dates, you wouldn't speak your own truth.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be authentic because you felt you needed to be a certain way. And so you essentially trained him to see you as a certain way, which wasn't actually the way you truly were. So how on earth could you expect the relationship to actually be authentic if you yourself hadn't set it up to be authentic out of the gate? Which again, I think so many of our sisters do, right? Men do that too. We all do that.
This is lighting up our brain.
Come on, girl.
What a
Come.
growth.
Yeah. I mean, the hearing you, the crazy thing is that I wouldn't believe when men said I love you, because I'm like, you don't love me. Like, you don't even know me. And obviously you don't even know me. You know?
Because you're not letting them know you.
You're not letting them know you. And what you know is a perfect version of me.
Wow.
So like,
What
what's
a
going to
trap.
happen when I'm not perfect?
And you are, as I am, as we all are, essentially imperfect in our nature, right? Part of the human experience, as I see it, reckoning our imperfect self with our divine self and how to be both of those at the same time.
Yeah.
A perfect essence, having an imperfect experience, an imperfect life by design. Whoa. Quinn, I feel like you're about to explode over here. What do you got?
Just loving. No, I don't have. I'm just loving what you're saying. I feel like it's a piece that I haven't had drop into my system yet, because I was doing this exact thing and just thinking, oh, there's something wrong with those particular men.
Yeah.
But it was that I was putting on the act. I was pretending to. I was the cool girlfriend. I was the whatever I thought men wanted.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get trapped in that, in authenticity.
Even though your job, if you truly are the sacred rebel, which I think you are, is to be the grenade lobbed into a room full of bullshit. And given that you're in a female body with a feminine essence, the force multiplier of that kind of a grenade, like you're the biggest energetic field in the universe as that energy. And so if we're losing out on that gift of you, like the ultimate bullshit detector, then there's going to be a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
Without your gift, right? And I want to say that with so much compassion, because what a fucking role. And what a role to hold and to be projected onto, and to be the one who's too much and too intense and you can't get it right, and have all the and as someone who's a recovering has to get it right, has to be perfect for women, or I am bad and wrong. The reality I created unconsciously in all of my past relationships until now, given the work I'm doing in my recovery, let's say. Yeah, where does that leave us now?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say what the work with Amy and Ellie then provided for me.
Yeah.
They just completely shifted my perspective of men. I saw men as the enemy. I saw men as, who I had to compete with.
Yeah.
And I realized that the more that I spoke my truth, the closer I felt with men, the more free that I felt in relationship with men.
Yeah.
So yeah, as little as, I just remember I had this experience with a man where we were together and then he started ghosting me. And a year later, I shared with him how that felt. And I realized that that's all I needed. Like, all I needed to do was share how I feel. And in that moment, I felt myself grow so big and feel so powerful.
Yeah.
That's kind of when, that's been the work with Amy and Ellie. Share how you feel. Make him right every single time.
Can you say more about that?
Oh, yeah. This one's a really powerful one.
Yeah.
Make him right, because I was living in a reality where I was making men wrong for absolutely everything they were doing. And so the question is,
Welcome to the last 60 years.
Yeah, exactly. How do I make him right? Even when he's not saying something the way I want him to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do I make him right?
And again, that's not to say that men are right all the time, right? It's not, that's not what's being said here. And what I meant by that, the last 60 years, right? For the last 60 years, our culture has been telling all of us, men and women, that men are the problem.
Right.
Men are the problem. That's why this podcast is called Remasculation. my own journey from the unintentional emasculation that I experienced, that a whole generation of men have been experiencing because men are bad and wrong, right? Both of you were at our Sacred Union event in January. I think both of you know this, right? Well, you weren't there. Were you there? No, of course you were there. Jesus, yeah, you were both there. I saw you. I was like, wait a second, am I tripping? No, you were both there.
So different now.
Literally, right? Night and day, different. Well, we had almost 150 people in the room, right? Men and women who came together for a 3-day, all-in weekend intensive. And to start out the weekend, we had everyone throw in on the group chat, what are you struggling with in relationship, right? What are the issues you're having with men? What are the issues you're having with women? Put it all in the chat. We took everything in the chat and we put it into ChatGPT. And we asked ChatGPT to summarize it. And it spit out 2 sentences. And those sentences were this: women don't trust men, period. Because women have been taught that men are the problem, right? So why would women trust men? The second sentence, men don't trust men or themselves. That's the whole bloody thing. Those 2 sentences are where we are right now as a culture and what men and women are experiencing. And if men don't trust themselves, how do men trust men? If men don't trust men, how do women trust men? If women don't trust men, how do men trust men? If men don't trust men, how do they trust themselves? Because I'm a man. Blah, 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 blah. Boom. There's the whole thing. So, wow. Okay. Wow. Where are we, right? So how do you make men right versus making men wrong as a practice, right? As an asana, as a lean, not that men are right all the time, or that you're now going back 100 years in time and get back in the kitchen and get barefoot and pregnant and listen to what I say no matter what, wench. Fuck that.
Right.
What is the alternative practice? So Quinn, you also went through this work. How did you get worked by it? And what was your experience?
How did I get worked by it?
Well, what was your experience of going through it? And yeah, how would you communicate it right now as the amazing sacred rebel human that you just introduced yourself as, maybe for the first time, with full permission?
I came in very unexpectedly. Kayla invited me to the event, and listening to them speak, I realized I was still emasculating. And I knew I had done that in my marriages, but I thought I had stopped with my partner, Sean, because he's amazing and he doesn't let me get away with a lot of shit. And I realized, oh, I'm still doing this. It's so fucking sneaky.
Yeah, it is.
And the whole sisterhood wound thing, healing that wound it's so important in such a practice. We've been taught to attack each other, because when we come together, we are so fucking powerful.
Yeah. Why have you been taught to attack each other? What is it about that reputation savaging that women tend to do with each other in the shadow competition for the masculine resources that are, and this is my articulation of what I see with the sister wound, right? It's like thousands and thousands of years of history of, if I don't get mine as a woman and she gets that man, I will be alone, childless, maybe cast out, maybe die alone in the woods, childless and vulnerable. So, oh my God, we have to compete for these resources for our survival. And the way women will savage and slash each other in that sense. Sister wound, the necessity of healing that to then be able to come back into meeting men in a different way. What would you both add to that?
I can start. There's something very distinct about being in a community of desire on fire.
Yeah.
Which is that we welcome all parts of ourselves and we tell each other the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth that isn't pretty. Like, I always use this example. I had a birthday in LA once, and a lot of the Desire on Fire women live there. And I was so excited for it. There's so many of them coming. And the day of, a whole bunch of them messaged me and said, hey, Tanai, I checked in with my desires and my body. And I just I'm more of a yes to take care of myself today, so I'm not coming. And in the world out there, that would be like, what a bitch. Like, she's not doing that for me. Like, she can't just give me a couple hours on my birthday. But in this community, it's, wow, thank you for taking care of yourself and not people pleasing and just coming to, to make me happy. And I'm so sad. I'm so sad that you're not coming to my birthday. So yeah, I share that to share the contrast, which is, there's, like, I grew up with a lot of attacking friends and feeling like I need to protect myself from my self-esteem being ripped apart. Like, I need to.
Yeah. I think a lot of our sisters experience that, right? Middle school, high school, gosh. The emotional violence that women inflict on each other and on men.
Feeling like at any moment you're going to betray me.
If the right man walks in and the right situation walks in, or
or like if I'm not wearing the cool sweater, then I don't belong and I make you look bad, and so now I'm no longer in your friend group.
Or your sweater's too cool, then I make you look like not good enough. I make you feel small.
What a minefield.
Yeah.
What a minefield our young women grow up inside of that isn't being penetrated or spoken about or shared.
Yeah.
So, and so no wonder women are emasculating men on the other side of that, right? Because emasculation is how women or anyone disempower a man. And again, I talk to so many women who say, I want a powerful man. I want to be with a powerful man. But then I watch and listen to them emasculate him consistently by how they speak to him, the way they interact with him. And I think it's worth saying that it's a way that women feel safe around men. If men are too powerful, right, and you can't control them, that can be dangerous if they're not in power in the right way. If they're abusing power, that's horrifying. I think that's what is actually being meant when people say things like patriarchy, even though I really disagree with that term because it's a generalization that I think is also harmful. But men objectify women to make you all safer, to make you somehow less terrifying. And what do I do with that? Fuck, I want that. I can't have that. I'm afraid of that. Oh my God, what do I do? And so this whole dance that we're in tonight, I feel like you've got something here on that thread. And
the way that, like, my upbringing, what I interpreted was, if you're powerful, man, if you're powerful, then my feelings don't count. If you take the lead, then my feelings don't count. And I have to shut down, literally. Like, I've lived my whole life with this knot in my throat. I can't speak up. And I'll plug in this work, and the work that you're doing with men is that now I get to have you lead, and I also get to have my feelings here, and you are also listening and honoring my feelings. Of course, not perfectly, but that's like the reality that I'm living in. There is no competition of power because it's different.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, like, the whole mirror thing is really important, because at the time when men were vulnerable and shared with me their softness, their weaknesses, I was getting super triggered by that because I didn't like that in myself. Yeah. So it's the same with the power, like, scared of your power because I'm not speaking up. I'm not allowing my feelings to be here, which is my power.
Yeah. So we're shutting each other down because we're afraid of that power. And again, I want to just say, none of us have been taught how to be with each other. None of us experience any training, any intact power structures, healthy power structures from our parents, from our community, from our culture. Where are the models? Where are the models for healthy relationship? Like, point to one couple in the overall culture that is actually operating in a way where his power is truly the thing that enables her power to come online. Like a truly powerful man who understands the value of a fucking oracle. And that the oracle, as I've experienced it, the oracle comes online in women to the degree she feels safe and loved. To the degree she feels safe, protected, and then loved, cherished, appreciated, and valued, her, like, and she knows that her saying something to a powerful man isn't necessarily going to sway him, and like he has to take what she says as gospel and do that she can trust that he's going to take in her wisdom, her download, her like, I don't even know what this fucking means, but I'm getting a transmission through my enlivened body mind that is so fucked open to God by you every day in your thought, word, and deed, that I'm a conduit for something that it's not my job to actually understand necessarily, but to transmit. He gets to take that transmission, figure out what to do with it, maybe check in with his men as well, and then get to move forward from there, taking full responsibility for the outcome of his action, whether he listened to you or not. And then even if what you told him, he made a choice and that choice didn't go through, he's not, oh, you didn't treat me well, or you didn't tell me the truth. And there's no blame being extended to you. There's just the continued orientation and calibration to you and your system. So few of us even know that that's possible. So few of us have, none of us have experienced that. So how do we know that we're missing a thing that we've never seen, experienced, or, it's such a thing that we just don't know that it's a thing. So yeah, a big part of this work, right? The women's work of healing the sisterhood wound, learning how to share what you're feeling in real time. And then to take responsibility for that, but also to be willing to share your truth to men. And I think this is a beautiful point where I want to bring in something that you've been experiencing, Tanai, because I think our sisters and brothers out there are really gonna understand. You've been sharing so beautifully over the weekend how scared you are of men. And instead of holding that in, you've been expressing that, both on our shared Sacred Union community thread here in Austin, but also in person, right, to actual men. And your experience hasn't been ostracization and demonization and all these things. What has actually been happening for you?
Oh my God. I mean, Michael, I actually want to start with sharing with you my truth. That was the first bit.
Yeah.
I shared with Michael
You did.
some like ugly feelings that, I felt like, oh, this is so ugly. Like I'm sharing with Michael how like I felt anger and disappointment and judgment. And then, you were the first one to be like, okay, I hear you. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah.
And then with the men, sharing with them how scared I am of them, and being met with so much love in their eyes, and them being like, wow, thank you so much for being vulnerable and for trusting us. Like it means the world to us that we get to walk around as men, knowing as men that make women like you feel safe. That's all we want. And it is so okay that you feel scared. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? And thank you for the feedback, because, if you were to ask any of my ex-partners, I don't know that they'd be able to say that about me. I am very much, I am in this work because I have needed this work. And this work is something I'm still learning as well. And so my own capacity to be in the true shared experience of a woman in real time. And I think we're good here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're recording. Cool. My ability to be with a woman's experience in real time and not need to fix it, not need to run from it, not need to take it personal, not need to make it about me. I have made it about me all of my life. I have tried to fix you because you're clearly having a problem and you're clearly not happy. And so this needs to be ameliorated and I need to change it. And if I can't change it, then what does that say about me as a man? Nonsense.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
That feels real gross.
Yeah. Why? Why does that feel real gross?
I just want you to hear me. I don't need you to fix me. And you're not in your power when you're scrambling to fix things. It just feels real gross when I receive that.
Well, it's like you're not a problem to be solved. You're
Emotional body.
Yeah, right. To be experienced. To be experienced.
Listen to.
And listen to, yeah. And I think it's tough because as men, we aren't taught. We haven't been taught how to be with women. And in the absence of that, we treat all of you like we treated our mothers or like our mothers treated us. Because if men don't have the experience of breaking from mother and going out into the world on their own, courting death, facing death, being alone in the nothingness, in the void of mom isn't going to rescue me. Mom isn't here to take care of me. I'm actually here to take care of me. And that's a horrifying void to step into as men, to recognize that no one's coming to save us and it's actually just us. And in our culture right now, because we don't have the superstructure of tribe, it is literally just us in so many instances, and how horrifying that could feel. That's what closed me for most of my life, feeling like this world is not right. No one's fixing it. Maybe it's my job to fix it, but who the fuck am I? And I didn't get the training I needed to fix this. I wasn't taken through my adolescent rites of passage. I didn't become a man at 14, 15, 16 like my ancestors would have, and as a 16-year-old be sovereign in my own essence, and then from there start dating women, which is again why this work feels so important. The men's rights, the women's rights, the men's work, the women's work that isn't being done, but then we're trying to step into relationship with each other, which is designed to bring all of our shit to the surface, because a relationship is a ship of relating, a vessel, a vehicle to transform as mirrors, as you've been saying so beautifully tonight.
Yeah, when I gave you that feedback, like that, the truth of the moment was telling you, like, here's what I'm noticing with you, Michael, and here's what I'm feeling. And being able to say that, I now hear the voice where it's like, Michael, I fucking care about you, and I see your greatness, and this hurts, and like I'm saying this because I fucking care, and I love you. And I have never in my life been able to get there. I've been scared my whole life because I've been hearing this, like the woman is there to test the masculine, and like test him in his greatness. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, that's so scary. Or like, if I do that, then I'm a bitch.
Right. Oh yeah, and who are you to test Michael Bates? Men's work facilitator, coach, and sacred union leader, whatever the fuck I am, right? And me in that moment of you telling the truth to me, I had a moment of, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Yes.
And then the need to protect the image of Michael Bates, men's work practitioner. Oh, let me straighten my spine. Let me breathe deeply. Do these things that we've been trained to do in so many, or that I was trained to do incorrectly, that I thought I needed to hold the frame of the thing instead of learning how to be the thing, which then shifts the frame into the representation of what's underneath it. But our culture is very backwards right now. All of social media is designed to present the thing as though it were the thing. And in some cases it is, but it's so easy now to present as the thing when we're not actually the thing. And it's no one's fucking fault. And it's all of our responsibility, because how do we change this thing? None of us were taught. Our parents weren't taught anything. Their parents weren't taught anything. We're all fucked. How do we stop blaming each other? How do we stop attacking our sisters and our sister wounds? How do we stop competing and attacking men? Men attacking men, women attacking women, women attacking men attacking women. How do we change this? And I think this is a beautiful moment to drop into you, Quinn, and some pieces that you have been experiencing of your own challenges with men, and what you shared coming into the podcast, and what came up over the weekend about the pattern, falling into the pattern of your own deprivation, not allowing men to hold you, that forcing you into your masculine,
Right.
and holding that masculine energy and quality, which masculinizes you, which again, there's nothing wrong with necessarily, but
Right.
It pushing you into this, I can't fail, I have to be a certain way.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
I want to start with when I'm in my masculine, I get a lot done. It's great. Get a lot done.
Yeah.
Doing. And then I don't understand why I'm so exhausted. And I'm so sad. And I don't feel pleasure. And I'm holding on really tight to that control.
Yeah.
And even though I've done a lot of this work, because I'm stepping into something new, all of that survival patterning came back online. That efforting, doing. And I've been venting to my partner, but I have not been requesting support. So she has been listening. And he is in this work. And he's not going to just save me. So I have been in it. I have really been experiencing it. And when we sat in the hall and we breathed together, we're breathing. And then you asked me some questions and really held me with your gaze. I softened and softened. And what I realized in that moment was I didn't even realize it until later. I had been depriving myself of all masculine providership. I had been pushing it away. I got it. I'm a bucking. I got it. And you held me. Just with your eyes. You did not let me get away with my trying to send the attention. Oh, what about you? And you provided that containment. And I felt held. And I opened. And my feminine came forward. And it felt so good. And I didn't realize until later that's what's been missing. And it wasn't until I was right back in that masculine. I spent all of the last 2 days back in that masculine.
Wow.
And I was reviewing some notes from Amy and Ellie's work. And the word deprivation came up. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have been preventing my own joy.
So many of our sisters out there, and I think a lot of you listening, understand. Even if you don't understand it technically, you understand it in your feeling body, what Quinn's describing, because the women of our world are starving for the masculine. Yeah. And through no fault of our own, a lot of women are asking for it from men in a way that's nagging, in a way that's like mom, without realizing that what men respond to is a good fight, is a hero story. And I mean by that like a true hero story, not a childish one, but like this world is dying. This world is falling a fucking apart because our men are not present, are not here. And I say this as criticism to myself, first and foremost. I have been here, but I haven't been here. I haven't been here because no one taught me how to be here. And the ultimate masculine providership, and listen up, brothers, like I had to learn this too. Like you don't need to make $1 million. You need to learn how to be in your own body and the value of your actual presence and what being present and aware and awake can do simply by being that allows a woman to feel safe and held in that moment. And that's all you have to do. Everything else comes after. And if you can occupy this space, brother, it's not going to be long before you have $1 million. Or you have the other things that you've been taught, like all of us, you need to get first. I need to get money. I need to get the car. I need to get the house so I can get the woman.
Yeah.
No, brother. I had to get myself. And there are pieces of myself that I'm still out there trying to get because, again, I was not initiated as a young person. I did not grow up in a culture with an intact masculine frame around me and an intact meta tribal communal frame around me that all of us are desperate for. And none of us know we're missing because none of us had it, especially in the West. But that providership of presence. Because there's nothing special about me. I mean, okay, great. There is.
You are special.
Thank you.
And
if I can do it, anyone can do it.
And
And my partner, to be clear, can hold me.
He's a fucking baller.
He will not save me unless I request the specific, will you hold me?
Yeah.
If I am go, go, go,
Yeah.
he is gonna let me go.
The first thing I was taught as a lifeguard is you never approach a drowning person from the front, because they will drown you in trying to save themselves instinctively. And it won't be their fault. Their animal body will kill you both. So you have to be willing to kick them away and approach from behind. And if they keep circling to try to grab you, you just wait till they get tired, and you trust your training.
Wow.
And then you wait and you approach them from behind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how do we hold space for our women as men, but also how do we know when there's abuse? It doesn't just mean we have to hold you unconditionally if you're attacking us physically, emotionally, these things, because you need to know that we know how to hold a boundary and that we know how to say no.
And we love it. We love it. Oh, we really love it. Oh my God, it's such a turn on.
Men, are you listening
It's
to this?
amazing when a man says no.
No. That's enough.
Why?
Because it tells me you have a spine. It tells me you respect yourself. It tells me I can count on you. Yeah.
Glenn,
Yeah.
what else?
Pussy just got wet. Like, just the idea of a man holding his spine, it's a turn on. It truly is. Do not let me get away with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know this either, fellas. I learned this very recently. Very recently. So it's no one's fault, right? But it's all of our responsibility. And I hope the fuck you rewind this thing that Quinn just said, and all of us listen to it over and over and over and over and over again, because your pussy got wet. Not because something was done, but because something just happened and your body responded without you having to do anything or think anything.
Right.
That to me says that there's a law at work. There's something happening in the field that is true. And it might not be true for everyone, but I think it actually, there's something here, right? There's something really important here.
Yeah.
That is up, that we're all experiencing, men, women in the world right now. And there are clues to how we might be able to step more into this work and this reality. So
I would like to add that it's also not, it's the way that you hold your boundary. And I think that's why it's so important what you guys are doing. You are teaching men how to express to women that what we're doing is not acceptable without it being this scolding like I'm a child.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember, like, even with Luke, there was one morning where I was up. We hadn't slept all night. I was up in the morning, and he just goes, go to sleep. That's it. Like, it was just a demand, you know? And
Oh my God, he told you what to do? What a dick. How could he, who does he think he is?
Exactly.
Telling you what to do. What a sexist pig.
Or, yeah, what an amazing provider.
Exactly. It felt so good. It felt,
Why?
yes, man. Because it evoked confidence. And it allowed me to relax. Like, here I am, I'm a chaotic feminine being, and you're giving me the direction. And it's like, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I, like, when I met him, I'd had these experiences with men where they were doing all the right things according to the guidebook of how to be a masculine, you know? And so it's like, when you listen to her feelings, validate them, and then so you're tall, and
The data bots.
tell her that she's loved, that you don't judge her. And I was like, wait a minute, like, I don't feel it. I don't feel your heart. I don't feel your presence. What are you doing, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I wouldn't feel safe. I would close off. And then now they don't like me because I'm a woman that closes up, and I really felt like I wasn't taken seriously, like I'm saying.
Sure.
So yeah, like, for me, this relationship, what it meant to me was experiencing a man who had his heart open and his spine, and he was present and with me, and not just trying to do all the things he thinks he needs to do to be a man for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've already been talking for an hour, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
There's a lot here. I would love to, do you have another just couple minutes just to wrap with, and this is a perfect segue, right? these men that you both have experienced, Luke and Sean.
Right.
Sean I had on my podcast already with Isaiah, and then Luke will be on with Damon tonight. It feels like a beautiful way to honor this whole process, to honor these men and what it is that you experienced them, the sort of before and after of how they were before they went through their own work and how they are after. What's the difference? And I'd love for each of you to sort of, and we already have, right? You've been both talking about these men and what they've been able to provide. And we haven't talked about money. We haven't talked about handbags. We haven't talked about these external derivations of value that so many people in our culture have been fixated on as the representation, right? And you get the handbag, or you get the car, or you get the house, or you get the trophy husband, and you don't burst into enlightenment and spiritual fulfillment. There's emptiness there, and an emptiness that is even more empty because you've gotten the thing you thought was going to free you, and make you feel good and whole and safe, and then you're not.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is it about these men that you can share, Quinn? About your man?
Yes, my man. Before the King's Code, I really worried. I was like, I don't think there's much more for Sean to learn. He's pretty solid. Like, he had a pretty good spine.
Which is true.
It is true.
Yeah.
But so much more has come online. Yes, his spine is fucking solid. And the way that he holds me, like, with his gaze and his witnessing of my storm sometimes, and not taking it personally, and just allowing for it and calling me on, is that a story or is that truth? Is that a feeling or is that a truth? And I think one of the biggest things that I did not expect was, Sean and I have been together a long time, and we started out with this, he was a hard refusal of being a provider. The word was a trigger for him.
Yeah.
And so anything that was mine was mine. So I was like, cool, I can handle that. Because I love that, because I'm, a strong, independent woman. Since the King's Code, oh my God, his provider has come online. And I am not talking money, even though to some degree, yes, that has also come online. My car has broken in the past, and it's been like, I'll pick you up from wherever you decide to drop it off. And this time, he said, I would like to fix that for you. And he fixed it with his own 2 hands, called his buddy over, and they fixed it. And then he fixed another part. And I felt so cared for. I felt so loved. Yeah.
I'm furiously typing over here because I'm just like, oh, notes, downloads.
What a simple thing, right? Yeah, what a simple and profound thing.
I could have taken it to the mechanic, but his masculine was like, hey, I can do this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
And what was that like for you in your body when that
It was
happened?
so good.
Was it a turn on or a turn off?
Such a turn on.
That's interesting. Why? Why was that a turn on?
My man is capable. My man wants to take care of me and like make sure that the car I drive is functioning and safe.
Yeah. There's something really at the essence here that feels important to reiterate, which is that allergy that Sean had to being a provider is something that I had as well.
Yeah.
In a big way. And I think a lot of men have right now. And that it's actually correct, because I think our culture and a lot of women are expecting men to provide, and what they're expecting them to provide are these things, right? We go out on a first date, the man has to buy dinner. That's the providing that needs to happen. And that's a beautiful traditional thing that can be a really beautiful thing. And as a man, it can also feel like I'm not just a bank account here. I'm not just here to provide an experience for you when I don't even know you. And you might genuinely be taking advantage of my time and energy, or you might just be a sweet traditional woman that just wants that. But how do we tell? How do we know? So again, it's like in real time right now, my brain is exploding in realizations of the essential providership is the essential masculine providership is the provision of himself, his powerful, potent, self-worked self in the space, his attention, his time, his energy, none of which is being appreciated right now in our culture en masse. Women are not appreciating men's time and attention, but it is the thing that everyone wants from us.
Yeah.
That these fucking devices are designed to pry from us in every waking moment. Everything wants our attention as men because it actually is the most valuable thing in the world. And I think this is maybe evidence in favor of that. If a man can learn to provide himself, you don't have to provide money, brother. You don't have to provide a fancy car or a house, because all of those are empty if you're not providing yourself at a level that can actually meet her, match her, help her feel and experience what these women have been beautifully sharing today on this podcast. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I want to add
Please.
the other elements of providership that I have come to appreciate so much is leadership.
Yeah.
I take events or this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And do you have anything for me?
Yeah.
Do you have any direction? And that has been fucking going phenomenal.
Yeah.
It has changed everything.
Yeah.
Because one, I get this beautiful leadership. Two, it shows that I trust him.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the man who feels trusted and feels the trust of his woman expands and is backed and feels empowered in a way that I don't think a man can simply feel on his own. Yes, men need to become empowered unto themselves and in brotherhood, but to have a woman that really backs you and to feel that trust, and yeah, you will fuck up and you will make mistakes.
Right.
But again, I think the conscious, quote unquote, conscious community has made us think erroneously that we need to be perfect, that a man has to be this perfect masculine thing. I sure believe that. And I fell into that trap. And what happens now if we're able to show up in these different ways? Tanai, what have you got on this?
So much. I'm like, can we continue for like another hour? There's so much.
I've got time.
Yeah, I mean, same. The last thing that you said just made me think about a big part of this work, which
Yeah.
is appreciating men's providership and
Yeah.
just even understanding that men want to provide. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Just even that understanding completely flipped everything.
Well, we want to be honored. We need to be
Yeah.
honored in our providership, because
Well,
otherwise it feels like extraction. It feels like we're
Right.
being,
Yeah, that's the thing that like I want to find a better way for earning, but like I do find that like when I'm in a relationship with a man, I want to show you that I'm earning your providership.
yeah.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
feels so good to me. Like I see your king, I see your effort. I really appreciate everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And the way men respond to that
Yes.
is incredible. Like I love it. Yeah, and
Yes. Yes.
they want to be around me more. Like I have not experienced a man going into his cave in years because because I'm not like criticizing him, attacking him,
Yeah.
expecting to a detriment, because that's what I'm working on now. Like, okay, great. I've treated the man like a king. Now also express the ugly things that.
And that's it, right? And all these women that I hear, I'm a queen, I'm ready for my king. It's like,
No.
are you treating men like kings?
Yeah.
Because if you're not treating men like kings, you're not a queen.
Oh, that's such a
And if the king isn't showing up in your,
what the queen is.
yeah. And that,
serving her king.
yeah. And in fact, for those women listening, right, if you don't find yourself surrounded by men who are vulnerable, sensitive, open-hearted, strong, powerful, providing, my hypothesis, and I'm being very generous in saying that, is that you are doing something that is contributing to this overall milieu that we're all
Yeah.
boiled in, distilled in, and that men are bad and wrong, and that you are creating the experience of men feeling disempowered, like they don't matter, like, oh, I'm just here providing for you and earning for you, which allows men to stay in bullshit jobs that they hate, so that they can keep earning to pay bills they don't want to pay, to try to make you happy, which isn't actually our job to do.
Nope.
It's your job to make yourself happy.
Yep.
We can contribute to that. But again, what we work on in this program, it's like a man has to know his deepest purpose. And to the degree he doesn't, he will be depressed. He will be anxious.
Right.
By definition. And that's not a sign that there's something wrong with you or that you need an SSRI. It's the fact that you're living in a way that isn't in alignment with your true nature and true self. And what it means to be earning a living from something that actually fills you up. That then you get to provide money or protection or provision through, but again, through the first and foremost stage of your own providership for yourself.
Yeah.
You are providing safety for you. You're providing safety. And from there, you're able to be a conduit, not just for yourself and your woman, but a steward and protector of the community, and a community that gets to be built and fortified and provided for by men who are awake and aware and alive.
Like, whoa.
There's just like I'm feeling like a guttural just sound in my body emerging from this, because it's like, yeah, like come and Molon Labe, like come and take it, motherfucker. Like the part in me that wants to provide and protect and produce and do that in service to what's I feel alive in the two of you across the table. And the vision that I'm starting to have for community and what we're trying to create here, the communal relationships that get to emerge here, that we all get to be held within, and the intimacy that gets to come for men and women as brothers and sisters, not just having to be in sexual relations and not just like stuck in these old patterns, but that the whole technology gets to come online.
Yeah. I'm like, should I speak about Luke? Should I?
Yeah, for sure you should speak about Luke.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Should you?
I know. I mean, yes, I will. I want to speak about Luke.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Hi, Luke.
So I just want to preface that this man is 7 years younger than me. So for the fact that he's the first, this is the first time I'm falling in love and the most trusting I've ever felt in a man, and open and soft. And he's 7 years younger, so that speaks highly to whatever he went through with you. And here's a great example. I can't speak to who he was before. I didn't know him. So then I send him a voice. I text him. You know, we're not together. I text him and I said, "Hey, Luke. You know, I'm gonna go on Michael's podcast. I'm gonna talk about you. Is there anything you think I should say about who you were before, so that I could speak to like who you are now?" And he's like, "Hey, Tanai. Like, I totally get where you're coming from, and what I would highly encourage you is to just speak to your experience, because you didn't know me before." And I was like, oh, you know, I hear the old me that's like, you can tell me what to do. But once again, he's encouraging me to do something.
Yeah.
And this is it. Like he could have caught the bait in that way that you guys like to say.
Sure.
And he didn't. He spoke his mind. He told me what he thinks, shared it out with me, you know, with a tall spine.
Yeah.
And that's to me a man that I want to respect. A man that shares, his direction in that way. And that's including the fact that when we met, he would say things like he would just start smiling and laughing and just say, "I can't help but feel so much joy in your presence." Just unashamed of how much he liked me and how, and like unashamed to show like, I want you. Like, after a couple of days, that's what he said. He sat me down and he's like, "I've never felt this way about anyone, and I'd like to pursue this. What do you think?" And I'm like, I think he's better being vulnerable than I am. Like there's so much power in truly, the word is unashamed of his emotions and his desire for me. And that's a man that I want to trust. Yeah, who's willing to put his heart out like that. And that was really representative of the time that I got to share with him. We did not pursue a relationship because we're not in the same place in life. And to hear him say, like, "I'm devoted to you and by letting you go because I love you and I want you to have what you want." Yeah. And hearing him speak the same way about his dreams, about what he wants to do with men, how he wants to impact the world, how he wants to impact the people around him. Wow, I mean,
Which he's already doing.
Which he's already doing also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really just see that possible for all men. Like, I love him. He's incredible.
Well, there's so much in what you just shared. Like, again, I'm going to encourage everyone to rewind and listen to what Tanai just shared about that experience, both for her and for Luke. And we're all protecting ourselves and thinking that the protecting is keeping us safe. It's creating the opposite. Being closed off is not safe. It's the most dangerous thing in the world. It's the thing that's going to end you up alone on your fucking deathbed faster than anything else. It's the opposite. Our instincts are wrong in so many ways. And again, it's none of our faults, but it is our opportunity to step into responsibility around that. Responsibility for ourselves as women, responsibility for ourselves as men. And how do we do that? Especially if we weren't initiated into our womanhood, if we weren't initiated into our manhood, and who the fuck is initiating any of us, and where are our models? So again, I know we could keep talking forever, but I will just say to everyone listening, I encourage you to find a way to do your work. It can be with Desire and Fire, which is becoming feminine reclamation. It can be with the King's Code. It can be with me personally. It can be with whoever the fuck it needs to be. Our flavor might not be the right flavor for you. Figure out what the flavor is for you and figure out how to do that work. Even if you have no money, doing this work will find a way for you to be able to pay for it. It'll find a way for you to be able to do this work because it'll be so right that the universe has no choice but to move for you in benefit and in providership for you. Man or woman, gay or straight, black or white. I don't fucking care. This work doesn't fucking care what your pronouns are. And have whatever pronouns you want. It's us. It's human beings. Remember how to human being again. And so I would love to invite final feminine transmissions in service of all of us to close. There's truly no wrong way to do this, but I really want to take a moment for us all to take a breath, and that can be you all listening as well. So everyone breathe in. Breathe out. And it would serve us all deeply. It would serve me right now in real time to receive a transmission from the feminine, whatever that truth is, whatever is congruent with your internal feeling state, to the degree that you feel correct in sharing it, to the degree you want to share it. It is welcome here. It is safe here. And this will be heard by lots of people. Inshallah. God willing.
So what's coming through is almost a plea of, please, we need you. My feminine I've been hungry for containment and masculine leadership because I have not been accepting it. And I know that I am not the only one. And I really hope that even just listening to this podcast creates a catalyst in the lives that you touch, even if they don't join us directly.
That's coming through me is we're all looking for the divine feminine, divine masculine. And what's coming to me is it's divine if you see it that way. It is our job to relate to each other as divine. That's it.
Dare I say it's our job to become divine ourselves and try to bring as much of that divinity to each other as we can, and be the one that can pop out of an argument, that can pop out of a trigger with someone else and hold a different line, hold a different thread. I feel deeply gifted by both of you. I feel the plea and the invitation from you, Quinn, in the plea from her to him. Like, we need you, brothers. This world is burning. We need you desperately.
Yeah.
We need your fullness desperately. And for you all who are listening, who aren't watching the video, Quinn is transmitting through her emotional body, through tears, through breath, what that would mean to her. And I dare you to challenge the authenticity of what she's experiencing and feeling right now. And what a gift it is. Thank you. It's so welcome here. Your tears are so welcome here.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. You deserve to have our attention. The little one deserves that attention. Yeah. As does the adult woman. And tonight I really hear your call for the divinity in all of us to step forward, because I see you doing it. I watched you do it all weekend, leading a beautiful event, singing a beautiful song, by the way.
Thank you.
Tanai Milgram on Spotify.
Soon.
Yeah.
Just tonight.
Just Tanai.
Yeah.
Tanai. Just Tanai on Spotify. And yeah, the beautiful sharing you've been doing on the thread and all the response it's been getting.
This is like a microcosm of what we're saying.
Yeah.
I've been so scared, like, what if I put my voice in here?
Well, and again, right, you might miss it in that way, but we're gonna leave it there. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for listening. And this has been the Remasculation Podcast. We'll see you all next time. Bye.